Think of the class so far.
So we have for this week the
Shoot.
Dr. John's product case, and we have to analyze some questions that were given.
Yeah, I was looking at those questions. You're cutting out a little bit. I think it's my internet. It's done this before.
So you have the questions with you, or how do you want to start the discussion?
Yeah, let's just go through the questions. Trying to find those.
Looking at those.
So the first one was, what do you think of Osher's process for identifying opportunities and building
it's
companies?
Kind of breaking up.
Is it? Shoot. Then maybe I'll just try using the microphone and turning off the camera, because that's what I've had to do in the past.
Yeah, let's just go through the questions.
Okay.
Can you hear me all right?
So we
Can you hear me?
well,
Is it?
Yeah.
The microphone work is working.
Okay, let's just do it that way and let's check if it is working better.
All right.
And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So we can start with the discussion then. So with the first question you asked, Osher's process for identifying opportunities, I think he was very straight and he knew what he was doing, because it was not just one company failed. He built some other companies, and also he was very successful with the other companies he was able to create, and in the end he was selling the companies, and that was a pretty awesome technique, just to create a company and then sell it and create another and sell it. I think that was a very business.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. He was looking for like different industries or different segments that hadn't had a lot of progress, hadn't been improved upon for a while, like the baby products, like how a lot of the baby products hadn't been changed at all, and he just jumped right into that, not having any experience, but he just looked for those needed improvement.
Yes. On the case says that when he was a teenager in the late 1960s, he started with the entrepreneurial activities. And he started just thinking about things, observing things that people was using, that people wanted to get. So by doing all those things, I think he was doing the marketing area, then evaluating what people would like to purchase, and then creating a product just to satisfy those needs.
Yeah. Basically a really good businessman, a very smart person.
I agree with it, because he was just not stopping with one thing. He was thinking about one thing and then thinking about the next one.
Yeah, he was always looking for things that people needed and that there was always a market for. Like the electricity too, like jumped right into that really well.
That's true.
So the next question was, who is John Osher? How does he come up with ideas?
Yes.
I guess it's kind of just what we were talking about, just a very successful business entrepreneur. Came up with his ideas by just looking for healthy risks.
I think, as we were mentioning before, because he was just looking around for people need, but how to solve and satisfy those needs. He was not just thinking about just one little circle, but he was going from one side to another, verifying what was not invented, and not just to invent a new product, but also to create something better what the other companies were offering.
Yeah. It's just really interesting how he's just very successful at finding and creating different businesses and just creating different products, like also the toys. Like he always had an eye out looking for new products that we're going to be able to sell really well.
Yes, that's right. Because one of the most important doing with every single company who was creating a product was to look for partners to distribute the product. And for example, he was just mentioning one of the stores he was using was Walmart. And by doing it, he was targeting his market, and I mean just using these entities to expand his product, expand his market, and let people know about the products he was promoting.
Yeah, he kind of did the same thing with the toy when he created this toy company, and he was building toys, and he had this guy from, I think it was China, the factory building, and he used that same factory, the same guy he was using to build the toys, to help build the spin brush.
Yeah. Because he actually had a structure already and how to manage his business and his new companies. So by having a created structure already, was going to be easy for him to create a new one using the same people as employees or co-workers. That way to have the same success, because he had that success in the past working with those, and the same or even a better success getting more experience.
Yeah.
Now we have in here the third question, and it says, is SpinBrush a good idea? How does John evaluate opportunities?
I think, he's just really smart to be able to look at like the toothbrush industry and realize there was only really expensive electric toothbrushes, and then he was able to produce one at a low cost, is what it says. So he obviously we read that it was being very successful.
Yes, that's right, because if not mistaken, he was finding that those SpinBrush dollars each one. When he created his new SpinBrush product, he was able to sell it, not mistaken, for $6, right?
Yeah, it was interesting just how well it
was interesting just how well it.
Yes, because what he was mentioning, first of all, he was evaluating how this SpinBrush was in the market already performing. So then evaluating what companies were producing the SpinBrush, and then making a comparison of how well those companies were selling this product, and also finding the weaknesses of that product. One of the weaknesses he found was that the other companies producing the SpinBrush back then was over $50. And he wanted to be a competitive company also selling the SpinBrush. So that is why he found and sell the price of his product for under $6. That is why, and the case says that just some, or actually few SpinBrush were being sold per week or per day. But then he was able to sell almost 6,000 units per day.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like that's just selling a couple per day to 6,000 per day in like less than a year is just incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What I've been learning from business is that people will look for what they want, good quality, but also good price. But also the product needs to satisfy a need, because if not, first of all will be needs and then wants. So we need to make people feel like our product is a need for them, and also by offering a good product and also positioning our product in a market where people will be able just to purchase it in a very easy way, as this guy did through Walmart and through some other retailers, was very amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, being able to put it into Walmart, I feel like that was pretty big for him because it allowed him to really just get it out in the market, and the guy was able to give out a few for free, and other people started seeing it, and it just got really popular.
Because if people realize what the product is, and also one interesting thing is that he said people were able to test it, right? Like to push the button. So people was able to test it before purchasing it. So that was a big idea as well. So people were able to actually test the product before purchasing it.
Yeah, that was definitely pretty big. So, I mean, the next question was why haven't larger companies already done a spin brush? That was the next question, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean,
think with that.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So I think with this one is that the other companies that had already created a spin brush, but they were about $50 a piece. So I think they just didn't. A lot of companies didn't do it because they were just being complacent. They already had toothpaste that was selling really well. They had normal toothbrushes that were selling really well. So it wasn't bad.
Yes, that's right. He was not the first one thinking about that idea, but he was the one thinking the best way to promote that product and to position that product into the market. Because, as you just mentioned, some other companies were selling that product already, but at a higher price. And by having it at a higher price and maybe not offering the opportunity for people to purchase it from different retailers, maybe just at one place, missing some marketing areas, missing to position alternatives for the guests to purchase from one place or the other, I think was missing the marketing part, and having it at a very high cost was a thing that was making some other companies not to start investing in the spin brush, promote that product the way that he did.
Yeah, I think being able to just produce it at such a low cost, being able to sell it at a low cost was a big deal.
Yes, that was increasing his market share, because by producing that, I mean, work from one client to another and from customer's voice was very easy to, to position that product, because if one was purchasing it and like it and then went away to tell anybody else, that was making a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one says that how much is spin brush worth? How would you place a value in a company?
This one was a little bit more tricky. But I just figured if they're selling 6,000 units per day at $5 to $6, I just figured I did like 6,000 times 365 days in a year. They're going to be selling about 2.2 million units per year.
That's a lot.
Million in sales a year. Yeah, it's a lot. So about $12 million in sales.
When doing the math and verifying actually the revenue and the cost of producing that product, when we're producing more of anything, the production costs are going down. So that, I think, that was a thing because he was able to sell it at a very lower cost because the amount that he was producing. Because by producing that high amount of units, costs were going down. I mean, he was able to purchase materials to produce that product at a very lower cost than just producing, let's say, 100,000, and he was selling actually almost 3 million units. That's a huge difference. So that was making the difference in the price. So that is why I think he was able to price of that product, and that was given value to that product actually because that product was cost than the company.
Yeah. Hard to put like an actual value on a company unless we have like all the financial statements. We don't know like the gross margin.
All the financial statements.
We don't know like their cost. I mean, it says it's at a very low cost, but we don't know exactly what their profit is. So it makes it really difficult to put a value on a company without the rest of that information.
Value on a company without the rest of that information.
Missing some statistics to evaluate for them, and also the for producing that product. That's a very important thing, as mentioned, company. Yes, with the information we have, that could be my opinion coming up, that he was selling a lot. That is why costs were going down. But to provide accurate information and amounts, we are missing that information.
Yeah. So that makes it kind of difficult to know exactly what to do.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for the next question, what should John do? In my mind, I think he should sell it. I think he's had very good success at creating companies and selling companies. He could sell it now for a lot of money because it's a great new idea. And then if he needs to in the future, he can always come up with a new product, a new business, because he's just very good at finding different things that he can do.
He's very good at finding that.
I agree with it because this guy was very good at doing it, and it was not the first company that he created a huge, great product and selling that amount of units per day. I mean, he knows what he's doing. So by selling that company, as you just mentioned, then creating another one, and then creating another one, he was positioning very great products. And by doing it, as you said, by selling it for a lot of money, I would say that would be the best decision to go with.
Yeah, I think the same.
Because if he continues just selling this product, I mean, the other competitors will realize what he's doing and will start doing similar things. So that will make that.
Yeah, and yeah, I think he could do it for maybe another 6 months to a year, but within another 6 months, these other companies are going to be coming out with similar products, and that could really hurt him because these other companies are very big, reputable companies, and that could really hurt him in 6 months to a year unless he's got some major marketing and advertising going on.
Yes, so that is why what he needs is someone be able to start that race, right? Like to support the product.
Yeah.
So that way the product can maintain its position, because as his company is just 9 people, support that product against those big companies. But success to someone who has to maintain the position for that product will make the difference to maintain that product still in the market.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely, I think you should sell it. The next question is, how do you analyze a case? For this one, I just said basically follow the case analysis instructions that we were given. The first paragraph or the first section, read the last section, and then to just stop and think about it and discover for your own, like figure out what you want to know, and then go look for it in the rest of the case.
Yes, that's right. We need to better use our time in thinking about the hypothesis we will use and what we will use to support our hypotheses, so that way we are able to support our answer, our conclusion about what we think about the case, not just being worried about reading every single detail on the case. I mean, that's important, but more important will be our opinion, what we think about that product. That's what analyze means, to provide our own opinion, but having something to support our opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. So basically just learning how to read a little bit of the case and come up with your own ideas.
Yes, to come up with the key points, just skim in the article, and by going with the key things, we will be able to analyze it and come up with our opinion with the resources we have in here. But the best thing is just to think about what we should do on that case based on what the information which has been given.
Yeah, and I think this is really good, like, practice for us before we start trying to be entrepreneurs ourselves, because us really think and look at this company and decide what should this company do at this point in this stage. And I think it's just a good thing for us to just be able to read something like this and think about it for ourselves.
Yes, because as the scriptures are teaching us that we need to apply things to ourselves, so that way we will be able to get the most we can from things we are doing, so that way when applying those, we will be able to know how to do it because we practiced before.
Yeah, exactly. So the next question was, write what question you learned. Sorry, go ahead. So the next question, write what question you learned to ask as an entrepreneur. And for me, I just said, has this market seen a lot of growth, and what can I do to change it?
That's true. I was thinking about, as an entrepreneur, to think that if current companies are selling good products, what can I do better to improve those products so I can satisfy in a better way the customer needs?
Yeah, and that's a really good question actually to ask.
Because actually when we are targeting our market, we will be able to evaluate what our potential customers need. So that way we will be able to evaluate and come up with some ideas about what products in the most, and then what those products are missing to give to our customers, so that way we can satisfy it and go on with our new products.
Yeah, I think that's just the main goal, is finding out how to satisfy buyers or consumers, and get them to want what you're producing. Finding out how to satisfy buyers or consumers you're producing.
That's the whole point. Just in the end, what we need to do for this analysis, just let me look it up. It says that in the end, to provide a summary and thoughts.
Yeah, so I think we just need to summarize it now, right? Everything we kind of just talked about.
Yes. So just we need to check the video time at this time, so we can provide the timestamp to the instructor.
Yeah, because I think that there was a comment, or there was a discussion board where other people were posting videos. I'll put it in there along with the timestamp so they can look at it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So first of all, with our summary will be that Osher's had the opportunity to identify and build companies because he was observant before creating and making any decision, verifying what the customer's need were, that way he was able to satisfy those needs.
Yeah. I like how you just said he was just very observant. I think he was just like living his daily life, but constantly thinking of different ideas or new ways to come up with new products that consumers would want.
Correct. That
And he
is
was
why
very
I was able to identify this big need with the spin brush by having this being sold as a higher price.
Yeah. He was just very successful at finding an industry, improving that industry, coming up with an idea, and then turning around and selling that idea for a lot more money.
Yes, he was a very good entrepreneur by doing it. So that is why with this spin brush, we both think that he should sell the company to someone who will be able to maintain that product position in the market and even to improve it, because he already gave the position and a good market and also a good sales record for this product actually.
Yeah, at currently 6,000 units being sold per day at $5 to $6 is pretty impressive. And I'm sure he'd have any one of those other major toothpaste brand companies that would be interesting in buying this product and making it theirs.
Correct. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I think that could be our summary about this case.
Yeah, I think so too. I think to finish it off, if he were not to sell the company, I think the next best option would be to partner with like Crest or and Procter and Gamble's through their Crest product, so that he can promote his spin brush through Crest, still make a profit under a larger company that can really promote it.
That could be a good idea as well, because what I should not support is for him to continue by himself.
Yeah.
Because by having a little company of just 9 people, that's not going to be able to handle huge products like this one, having a very great and brilliant feature. As you mentioned, selling 6,000 units per day. I mean, that requires a lot of effort and more employees to work on that company.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, yes, I think he should absolutely sell the company. If he didn't do that, I would say partner with Crest, but probably sell the company would be his best option, I think.
I support that one, to sell the company, and then if he thinks about something else, he just can do the same thing.
Yep, I agree. Cool. I think that covers our summary.
Okay, so we can stop then the live transmission then.
Yeah, I will stop that.